Hello, everybody. Simon Dixon here, CEO and co-founder of BnkToTheFuture.com. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the opportunity to join and be a part of what our investors have been asking for since 2016, the ability to invest in Bank to the Future's parent company, BF Global. To give you background, we haven't done a funding round since 2016. And since then, we've added thousands and thousands of high net worth crypto investors that have built significant wealth in our industry. And they've been asking to join Bank to the Future in the funding round. And so we decided that the timing is right because of our next strategic goals to bring in investors for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we want you as our loyal investors to also be our shareholders so that you can join us and support us in the growth of the industry and benefit from all of the 10 years of history that we've had investing in this industry, as well as the next decade ahead. And the second thing is that we believe that we're going to be moving into a recessive, depressive environment. And that's going to be very bad for the traditional financial markets, but very good potentially for the crypto and Bitcoin markets. And we're already starting to see those trends. We're starting to see a huge uptick in the demand for products in this industry. And we've been working on releasing our next phase of retirement products for the masses. So up till now, Bank to the Future has been an online investment platform for the rich and sophisticated and qualifying investors. We allow them to invest small amounts, $1,000, and build a portfolio in many of the largest companies in financial technology, in Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency. And we've had many, many of those companies. But now we want to build a product for the masses. So I'm going to give a presentation now on why we're doing this. And I'm going to turn over to a screen share so that you can see what our plans are and decide if investing is appropriate for you. So firstly, if you have not heard of us already, we are actually the longest standing company in crypto. We started in 2010. And we were around when nobody was investing in the Bitcoin and crypto markets and supporting those companies with their early stage funding round. We're actually been a decade as a crypto securities business, so we were the first in the industry to actually do that. And so just before I go through that, please pause this screen and you can read the disclaimers, some important messages there. But our portfolio now consists of most of the major large companies in crypto. Our 2020 portfolio consists of over 100 different rounds and investments from exchanges like Bitfinex, Kraken, Coinbase, Blockchain.com, Circle, Ripple Labs, many others, most of the companies that you would have heard of in the Bitcoin and crypto industry. For us, it started in 2010. I wrote a book called Bank to the Future, Protect Your Future Before Governments Go Bust. And I was part of a monetary reform community. And I uploaded a video on my YouTube channel, Simon Dixon, called The Great Depression of 2020s. And so for the last decade, we've been preparing for this event. In the book, I talked about all the technology companies that are going to be benefactors when the banking system starts to reach its pressure. We built a company to prepare for that exact scenario. We originally wanted to create a non-fractional reserve bank, but when we discovered and spoke at the very first Bitcoin conference, the non-US Bitcoin conference in the world, and released our vision for Bank to the Future, we started pivoting the business to support companies that wanted to build this industry so that we could then build on top of the technology once it matures, because we saw Bitcoin as a non-fractional reserve banking financial system. After that, we actually had to change laws in the UK where we were based at the time. We later relocated. But once we actually made those changes in laws in the UK and lobbied the regulators, President Obama actually picked up that work, which led to changes in securities laws that were written in the 1933. That led to something called the Jobs Act, which was later copied by many countries around the world. And that led to the opening of online investing globally. So that initial bit of work that we did had a huge impact. In 2013, we were finally added to the UK regulators register. But the problem was that it was only for UK businesses and UK investors, and we wanted to support this global market, fintech, Bitcoin and crypto market. So we later had to re-register in the Cayman Islands, the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority, and put together a global structure whereby local regulated institutions would do the onboarding through the platform. In 2014, we got to work and we started investing in many of the early stage funding rounds. Kraken was one of the companies that actually gave a 200x return to our early investors. Bitstamp was another one of those. Bitfinex was another one. And we created in 2014 the first Bitcoin investment company that actually invested in Bitcoin mining as well as earlier stage companies, and paid out thousands of Bitcoin in dividends, creating the first generation of wealthy investors through our platform. In 2015, we did the same. We put together an Ether mining-backed security. It actually paid out tens of thousands of Ether at a price under $1, and that made many more wealthy investors through our platform. In 2016, we supported Bitfinex in their hack recovery by actually them launching a token, which was the world's first security token. And we did the equity conversion piece, which allowed essentially investors to get equity in Bitfinex at the pre-bull market valuation of 2017. And they paid out all their profits in dividends. So it became one of the most profitable investments through the platform. But these are the types of innovations that we've been involved with. It was funny in 2017 because we got completely disrupted. No company wanted to offer equity anymore, and no of our investors wanted to invest in equity. They all wanted tokens. And so in 2017, we created a regulatory structure to be able to actually sell tokens in compliance with securities laws. We launched the BnkToTheFuture token under that model, and that was dealing with some of the disruption. But then obviously tokens started to have a big correction and people started to move to equity again. In 2018, the US broker that we built, we actually sold it to Coinbase so that they could go on to build and support the security token market. And in 2019, we made 3 strategic investments and acquisitions. A UK registered appointed representative corporate finance firm so that we could expand the number of things we could do with financial technologies in the UK. Also an SEC registered broker dealer, BMI Capital, and the technology behind decentralized exchange, allcoin.io. So in the future, if we want to launch a security token exchange, we've got the technology for that. But in the meantime, in 2020, we actually launched, coming out of beta, our secondary market where people can buy and sell shares in the largest companies in crypto because of the special structure and all of the assets that we've accumulated over the years through building the largest community of investors, of high net worth investors in the world, investing in this industry. So the next decade is really focused on mass adoption. Up until this point, we've been essentially a niche platform for the rich and sophisticated to invest in this industry because of the regulations and securities laws. But now we feel it's time to build a product for the masses. And so we've been working on building our next generation retirement products that are built to diversify into the growth of Bitcoin and crypto and perform well if Bitcoin succeeds. And so by launching these retirement products, we think that we've got the formula for what would be a mass appeal product. So give you a quick overview of what we've got today. We've got our primary markets, which is where people can invest in more established companies that do funding rounds on our platform, as well as early stage startups. The business model that we follow is we get 5% of whatever's raised through the platform. And then we get an asset, which is if the company exits in the future, we get a 5% kickback. And if they pay dividends in the future to our investors, then we get a 5% kickback. So through this model, by our primary markets, every time we do a funding round, we get a new exposure to a new company in the industry. And now we've done over 100 of those. We're actually one of the most diversified way of getting exposure to all the history that you might have missed. So if Kraken exits in the future, we get a kickback. If Coinbase exits in the future, we get a kickback. Same for Circle, same for Bitfinex, same for Ripple Labs, and many other companies like BnkToTheFuture.com and many more. The secondary market is actually where you can buy and sell after lock-in periods. The next goal is actually to make some of these equity positions more useful through collateralized products that we're looking at launching in the years ahead. And also a portfolio builder, which means that within a few clicks, you can actually build a portfolio and get complete exposure to all of the companies in the industry. And we've got a plan with this funding round to actually secure many of the companies that we might have missed so that we can get all the major companies in this special structure on our secondary market. As we said, we launched the Bank to the Future token, and that's working well for our investors. They get 50% discounted trading fees when paying with Bank to the Future tokens. They get priority access to deals if they stake some of those tokens. And if they stake more of those tokens, they get a kickback on every investment they make through the platform. The problem is it hasn't done terribly well as a token because it's a niche product. So we want to take the Bank to the Future token and apply it to a mass appeal product so that we can actually build more of a network effect around the token as the largest token holder within the BF Global structure. Our identity product is essentially, we've taken 10 years of all sorts of legal opinions, all sorts of spending millions with lawyers in doing compliance with local securities laws globally. And we put all of that into our identity solution so that when people on board, they comply with their local regulations, anti-money laundering laws, everything we need to do that has allowed us to survive for a decade in one of the most confusing industries in regulations, which is the Bitcoin crypto market. We put all of that into the BF identity so that we can onboard investors at scale, integrated with local regulated brokers that we've either invested in or acquired, all under the group of BF Global, which is the parent company, and that owns all of the assets underneath it. So the next move is actually to launch our mass appeal product, and that consists of a three-part strategy. We're launching our new sub-brand, Retirement Plan B. We finished all of the IP registrations, and we'll be launching it over the coming months. Retirement Plan B is essentially taking advantage of the most responsible way to build a retirement plan in the crypto market. It consists of investing in Bitcoin, investing in a portfolio of equity and crypto assets, lending some of your Bitcoin for yield, and getting dollar exposure through stable coins and lending those out for interest and income, and taking advantage of some of the products in the Ethereum and DeFi space by investing in Ethereum, lending it out and staking it. But all of that is very confusing for new people. So what we're building is a product that does that with a few clicks and allows people to get complete exposure to the growth of the industry in what we have learned from dealing with 90,000 investors and seeing which ones lost money, which ones made money, and what we consider to be the best ways of getting exposure to the growth of this industry. We put it all into an online educational program called the Retirement Plan B Online Coaching Program. And really, we're taking the traditional investment principles and strategies of the rich and wealthy 1% and applying it to the Bitcoin and crypto markets so that if Bitcoin succeeds, people can build a retirement plan around that, whether they do it for a small part of their total portfolio or their entire portfolio. We've got an online coaching program that guides them through these different investment approaches and does it in a tax efficient structure in a way where it can be inherited by loved ones, and using real traditional portfolio theory from traditional markets and applying it to our wealth of experience, having been involved in investing in the industry right from the beginning. Once they've done that online coaching program, we have our portfolio builder, which within a few clicks, they can build a retirement plan. And they can do that through the BnkToTheFuture.com platform and take advantage of each of those strategies. But there will be some people that don't necessarily want to do the education. They don't necessarily want to deal with the technology. And in the future, we have ability to launch a managed fund, which essentially is a done-for-you solution that allows us to tap into different types of markets, which is our mass appeal product: education, portfolio builder, and eventually managed fund as a future product strategy. So that's our plan. We're in both an asset-rich and growth technology company. The reason we're in asset-rich is because every time we do a new primary offering, we get beneficial exposure to any dividends or any exit proceeds in the future. And we've now got the largest community of high net worth investors investing in this industry. But we're also a growth tech company. So on this page, you can actually see our numbers. We've given you our numbers so that you can get an idea of the growth potential of our company. If you head over to the investor page, you can actually see the history of our valuation and some financials. You can also see our complete organizational structure. We're selling equity in our parent company, which is the company that actually gives you exposure to all of the different assets under the Bank to the Future brand, including Retirement Plan B, including the BnkToTheFuture.com platform, and including Bank to the Future Capital, which holds all of the beneficial interests that we receive those 5% kickbacks on, should any of those companies pay dividends or exit in the future. This is why we believe that we're actually one of the most diversified way of getting exposure to everything that happened from the beginning of the Bitcoin and crypto markets through to the next decade ahead. We've got a team at 25 plus. You can see details on our team on this page. And if you head over to the investors page, you can see the main reason for us raising these funds is to actually double the size of our team so that we can take advantage of some of these opportunities that lie ahead. We'll be doing that anyway, but with these funds, we'll expand the recruitment process, and also really to just have the ability for our investors who are our clients and our loyal clients to actually be shareholders in the growth of the whole platform. So here's the offer, return on investment, and exit opportunities. The minimum investment to get into the BF Global parent company, which owns and operates BnkToTheFuture.com and all the other brands, is $1,000 minimum investment. There's a number of ways that you can actually pay. You can pay by credit card. You can pay by bank transfer. If you're in the US, ACH. You can pay by Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoin, and there's a range of different payment methods. We're going to be raising between 5 and 10 million. This allocation is just for our strategic investors and partners. A lot of that will already be allocated to some of our strategic partners, but the rest of it and most of it will actually be available to our investors that we want as our shareholders too. We're raising at a $250 million pre-money valuation. If you log into the investor page, you have to have completed your account. And once you log in, you can see the whole investor history. Just press the view investor page button, log in, and you can check out our history of the valuation and some financial figures. In terms of restrictions on number of investors, due to US securities laws, we're only able to take on a maximum of 99 US investors on a first come, first served basis. But for non-US investors, we can take up to a maximum of 1,500 non-US investors. It doesn't matter how much you individually invest, that's just the caps on the number of investors. In terms of exit opportunities, we have 4 ways of potentially exiting. One is that we are shareholders in many of the largest exchanges in our industry, and we built relationships with them all. In the future, we might decide to merge into one of those exchanges, in which case it would be an acquisition. Our goal is to actually only consider this if we can get our valuation to $1 billion plus and become a unicorn. So that's our goal that we're working to achieve. In terms of other potential opportunities, we don't think that this is something that we'll end up doing, but we have been exploring rolling up with other companies into an IPO. So if that strategy falls through, but remember, this should be seen as a long-term investment. The other is our secondary market. So after our 1-year lock-in period, we have a price floor so that the price cannot go below the current funding round. But we have a secondary market where people that miss this funding round might be able to get in. It will be at a higher price than this funding round because there's a price floor at this price. But that's after the 1-year lock-in on our secondary market. And finally, there's the potential, obviously, if we can build a network effect around our Bank to the Future token by integrating it, we at BF Global are actually the largest token holder in the market. And we could end up doing some kind of share buyback if any of our assets mature in a very big way, and we might want to do that. None of these are actually guaranteed strategies. This is high risk, high return. If we fail, the shares will be worth nothing. But these are what the strategies that we're looking to follow, and try and get to valuations of some of the companies and our portfolio companies that we've invested in. So to give you an idea, if you can reach the maximum in our industry at the current timing, Coinbase is currently valued at $8 billion, one of our portfolio companies. Kraken, another one of our portfolio companies, are currently valued at $4 billion. And Ripple Labs, another one of our portfolio companies, is currently valued at $10 billion. That is based upon the last funding rounds. So it shows you that there is the upside should we succeed and build that network effect that we're looking to build in the decade ahead. So thank you very much for your time. More details can be found on both this page, the investor page, and also you can ask your questions on the pitch forum in the discussion forum, and we'll be delighted to jump in there and answer any of your questions. So as I said, we're really excited about doing this small Series B funding round, mainly to get our loyal customers that haven't been able to invest since 2016 to actually become our shareholders and join us on this journey on one of what I believe to be the most exciting times in financial history, and get exposure to everything we've done in the past, everything we do in the future under the Bank to the Future brand and the Retirement Plan B brand. And we look forward to sharing this journey with you. Thank you for your time.